You're listening to the Get Peeled podcast, a space for life enthusiasts to get inspired, learn through others about fitness, business, relationships, and life itself. I'm your host, Hannah Eden, a fitness entrepreneur that has an obsession with sweating and a burning desire to share and inspire others with the lessons that I have learned through fitness. Welcome back to the Get Peeled podcast. I'm Hannah Eden, your host.
And I'm Paulo Barreto, your co-host. And today we're going to do part 5 of this 5-part podcast series that we're doing to introduce our program, Beyond.
Beyond. So Beyond is going to be the 5-week kettlebell program that we are really excited to release. Man, we're going to be doing all the things in that program.
I love it. 3 kettlebells, that's all you're going to need.
Yeah. 2 that weigh the same, 1 heavier if you have it. And the workouts are really fun. And they are probably going to sound really intimidating to you with what I'm about to say, but they shouldn't be, because we've got 3 different levels on the screen at all times, slowing it all the way down to someone if they're right at the beginning of their journey. We show you regressions that you can do, and then we bring it all the way up to intermediate and advanced. So we're going to be learning some really cool shit with the kettlebells.
We're dancing, man. It's going to be good.
Yeah, man.
I like this one. Every Wednesday, we're going to introduce a new piece of kettlebell technique.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, we're going to go over the Kettlebell Snatch on week 1 in different forms, because there's many variations of the Kettlebell Snatch. Mm-hmm. Then you're going to do the Turkish Get Up.
Yep. I love that.
Me too.
Fuck.
Then I'm going to teach you the Kettlebell Figure of 8.
Yeah.
And then you're going to teach the...
Tactical snatch.
Yeah, man. And then I'm going to teach you the windmill, and then we're going to also repeat those things that I just said and stack them up and progressively add them into the program as the program goes on. But yeah, it's really fun. We're going to have heavy days. We're going to have time under tension days with pause reps and slow eccentrics. We're going to have heavy days, single leg work. Ooh. We're going to have all kinds of stuff. It's going to be really fun. We've also got a snatch tower, which is awesome. So every week,
snatch test.
which is massive. So we're progressing. I don't know if anyone did Fearless, but we did this with a squat tower. So now we're going to have a snatch tower. So every week we add 30 seconds onto the time. Mm-hmm. Week 1 we start with 60 seconds, and week 5 we finish with 3 minutes of max effort and max rep snatches. Pretty dope.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I like it.
We've wrapped up filming now, and this is also our final podcast, and we want to go out with a bang on this one.
Exactly. So if you've been following us for the past 4 episodes, you know exactly what's going on. If it's your first time listening to us, to Hannah and myself, on this 5-week kettlebell program that we have, we also decided to introduce on each one of the weeks a little piece of ancient wisdom of the great Stoics, right? Of the great Stoics. Anyways, we read a book that really resonated with us. It's called The Obstacle's the Way. Basically, each week provides some teaching. And this last week, we're going to talk about Memento Mori.
That's right.
Which translates from the Latin to?
That we all must remember that we are mortal.
Yep, we're going to die.
We're all going to die. And that sounds scary, and there's perspective, and this is what we hope that this entire program has shown you, especially up until now. And this is like the banger, which is, yeah, we're all going to die. That's our destiny. And that's one thing that every single person on this planet has in common. When that happens, we don't know.
It's the only certain thing, yeah.
It's the only certain thing, right, for all of us. So rather than looking at that from one perspective, which can be done, right? Like, is the glass half full or is it half empty? Now, is that scary and, oh my gosh, we're going to die? Yeah, but like, we can't look at it like that. We've got to switch that perspective and think, wow, this is a scary thought, but it is so easy to die. So every single day is a gift. And now I want to make sure that I do everything in this life. I'm not going to wait, but now that I want to do. And why wait? Don't wait till we say it in the program and it gets dark, it gets deep. And I do want to talk about our friend Emily in this in just a small piece, but you know, why does it take that dreaded sentence that no one should ever hear for us to then react, which I now go back to our great friend Jess that we unfortunately lost, right? You have cancer. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I need to do everything that I wanted to do. Or maybe these are the thoughts that go through your mind. And this is the examples that happen in the book. And it's so true. And I think that we should all remember that, because life is so precious. And I think that all of us, again, this is said in the book too, we may not say it out loud, but we act and we go through life like we're invincible. And we abuse our bodies. We do things that we know are not good for us. Like, if we know that it's harmful for us, why the fuck do we do it? And we know what we need to do to be able to live longer. We know what we need to do to be able to be better. But it's not easy to do those things, right? And that's where tools and tips come in to help us sharpen our tools to go in the toolkit and be better at being better. But, this is something that doesn't come naturally. And I think this whole idea of this chapter is we shouldn't have to hear that sentence in order to do things, because life is precious. And there's a really rough example in the book, I don't know if you remember this, which is anything could happen, right? Yes, we could die, but we also could live. But we could step outside tomorrow and you could get in a car crash that, I think the example is that like shoves your jaw into your skull and you die, right? Like that's out of our control. We don't know if that's going to happen. So why would we ever live like it is, rather than live like we want to live and live this life that when you're old and wrinkly, if you make it to that point, that you would want to sit down and talk about, because you've got a life that has been worth living.
Man, it's tough. What you said is spot on. We live this life, and sometimes we need to be shaken up, right, to change the reality. When in fact the reality is caused by the system that we have in our brains that just defaults. It's always a default, right? We're just going through life, and we think that death is something that's waiting for us, 40 years from now, 50 years from now. And the challenge of life is, how can you reboot the system in a joyful way, in a good way, in a good experience kind of way, rather than being through hardships, being through death, being through a traumatic experience? How can you do that? That's the hardest thing.
And I say this, and I want to come back to my point about Emily, is because I sit here, right, as this person that's trying to influence and be some form of a leader, but I also struggle with these things. And I'm not sure if I'm not sure if everyone that is listening is aware of what has been going on with Emily, but Emily is going through treatment right now and actually going through radiation as we speak, because she was diagnosed with breast cancer not long after we've wrapped filming Rebirth.
Let me just open a quick parenthesis, baby. Emily was one of our coach. Oh, sorry.
Rebirth, the latest program. Emily is a coach. She is the coach on that program that leads the intermediate tribe. And she's also been a massive part of our life for years, because she was one of our head coaches at Pump Fit, and she has become family through this whole experience. And she's really young. And
my age.
Yeah, she's your age. 36 years old, and thankfully caught it very early, but all through just knowing herself and knowing her body and actually going beyond what she was told to do. And that's how they discovered it, because they were like, come back when you're 40. And she's like, no, something's wrong. I need answers, and I know my body, and something's off. And they ended up finding it, which is an incredible situation that happened there. But it reminded me again. And then it put me back a bit. And it's like, okay, I sit here trying to lead by example and be a practitioner. And I do think that we live our lives very much so. We do wild things. We go out there, we do these things. But we also do a lot of things that we don't have to do, which we could change. And I recognize that about myself. This is on a personal level, and in business, and in our marriage, and in friendships and relationships, and whatever all these pieces are, which is, if you remember back to the beginning of the Get Pilled, is about that, right? These 3 sections of life of personal goals, business goals, and relationship goals, and focusing on these 3 areas. Like, I'm famous at not doing that all the time. And again, I hate that it takes something like this that is like happening with Emily for me to remind myself that. So I'm reminding myself that, which is what we do, right? And so I'm going to share that with all of you too, which is, we shouldn't wait. If you don't like something or you want to make a change, make it now, man. Life's short. And let shit go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. One of the Stoic philosophers that we read about on this book, The Obstacle is the Way, and on the podcast that we follow almost on a daily basis, highly suggest you check it out. It's called The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. The really cool thing about this podcast is that you can play in your car, and the episodes, they range from 2 minutes to 8, 9, 10 minutes. Something super quick. It's just a little piece of word that you can take on in your day.
A little piece of wisdom, right?
Yeah, a little piece of wisdom that you can take on through your day and try to hopefully apply on that day. But anyways, Seneca says something that's interesting. He actually has, there's a writer, I don't know the name right now, but we can put in the description of this podcast. He wrote a book called Dying Every Minute. So the catch is we have this idea about death. That's something that's waiting for us in the future, like I said, right? I'm 36 today, and I hope to one day live to 82. And instead, he challenges us to kind of look at death as something that's happening right now, every minute. So rather, I should look at it, I have already died 36 years. I don't know how much time I have left. So what am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with the time that I have left? Should I keep waiting and hoping that the end is far, far away when in fact it could be tomorrow? So that's what goes back to what we're saying. We can't wait because time is the one thing that never belonged to us. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so we can't count on it. All we know is what's happening right now. And the time that you're spending right here listening to us is time that now belongs to death. And another really cool idea that I actually listened to this morning was the moment the human body, the moment that we're born, we start dying. So think about that. The moment that you're born, we start dying. So when we're actually gone, in our grave, there's going to be two dates. The date we're born and the date that we're gone. Now, what happens on that dash? And it's up to us to write everything that happens on that dash. How you're going to be remembered for, what kind of person you're going to be remembered for being. So it's all about that one dash in between those two dates. And we take it for granted. We think that we have tomorrow. We think that it's far, far away when, hell, our friends, our life, our close circle shows us that it's not the case. So what are we going to do with the dash? How are you going to write that?
And I hope that what everyone can take away from this is this is a reminder to not live in fear, because fear holds us back from doing the things that we want to do because we're scared of what? I'm not really sure, the unknown, right? So use this example and think about this as we're wrapping this whole thing up with how many of you began, and we say this throughout the whole program, how many of you do you think looked at this program from the promo material or just something that they saw online before they signed up and thought, oh man, I wish I could do that? Or how many of you thought the same thing and then you did? Maybe some of you are here now going, fuck yeah, I did that. And now I hope you have that, I call it fuel. I'm like, you know that feeling, that dopamine rush, right? That feeling that you have right now, that's momentum, that's fuel. Keep fueling yourself and doing the things that fills your tank to make you feel like you're full of life, that you want to keep going, you want to get to the next level. Whatever this means, it doesn't need to be in a workout. This could be within your relationship, your marriage, your friendships, your career, whatever it is. Or with yourself, you know, like it doesn't matter. This can come in every shape, size, and form. But think about that and try to look at this whole thing as I have just been reminded that we're all going to die. So what the fuck am I waiting for? Let's go right now. Let's not wait. Let's not think that we can fix it at some other point in our life. Let's fix it now. Or if it's not that, let's go on that vacation that we were going to get to once I get to this part of my career. Or I'll slow down when I get to this stage in life. Or whatever these things are, don't. Why? What happens if you don't have tomorrow? How many things are you going to be looking at? Or when you're not here anymore, whatever you believe in, that you're in some other form and looking back going, fuck, I wish I did this. I wish I called this person. Oh shit, I said I was going to do this whenever I finished this. Or I said I was going to do all these things and I didn't. Like, whatever would come to your mind if you were there, write them down. And that's your fucking bucket list right there. Go out and check them off.
And the writing down is what changes a lot.
Hell yeah.
Because when you look at it, when you write down, you put it out in the world and to yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And fuck, man, if you write something down to yourself and you can't stick to it, not that you must, but fuck, it's your word to yourself.
Yeah.
And it's your chance to fucking do it.
And we say in our last program, Rebirth, which is wake up, face your reality, right? That's where you need to wake up. Like, don't be writing shit down that is so unattainable that you know you're never going to be able to cross it off. Or if you do write it down, put it somewhere so that you see it, so you understand that that is the end goal, but be very aware that you don't just jump into this, whatever this may be. This means if you want to get here, you have to rewind and start here and then get closer towards it. But be real with yourself with your daily tasks, okay? Start to feel this fuel that I'm talking about, because even if it's like, I'm going to deposit a check today. That's one thing. I'm going to breathe for 60 seconds after I brush my teeth with no technology in a silent room. I'm going to read 1 page of my book today. Start small, progressive overload, right? Accomplish and check those things off, feel it. We call it capacity. We call it your tank. Like, you're getting stretched. You're becoming bigger. You're able to handle more. You'll be able to accomplish so much more. You'll be able to try new things. Like, everything is going to change if you just be kind to yourself and don't set these expectations that are so high that you know you're never going to get there. You will one day. Maybe you have an inspiration board, but on the to-do list for today, write it attainable.
I like it. Well, any closing thoughts, baby?
Man, I'm just so grateful to be here.
Me too.
5 weeks down. And
5
thank
weeks
you for
down.
listening for all these weeks if you have been. Thank you for being part of this program if you have been. If you haven't tried it yet and it's coming soon, then I also hope that, you enjoy it and can take something away from this. And listening to these podcasts, you can apply it and hear the messages in the workout.
We hope so. Remember that there's no such thing as an ordinary life, because the fact that we're here is already extraordinary, right? It's crazy, but I think that Gary Vee said that last. Man, for us to be here, for me, Paolo, and you, Hannah, think about how many things had to align for us to be right here, right now. It's your grandparents meeting that one day. Anything could have happened.
Yeah.
And then the next generation. So don't take a life for granted. The fact that you're here right now, the fact that you get to wake up today, and another chance to rewrite that little dash in between is a blessing. So take it, use it, and we hope that these 5 podcasts help just plant a small seed in your mind so you can do better today.
And I hate to drag it on, but it made me think of something. There's a lot of people that are listening to this that are starting their fitness journey, but there's also a lot of people that are doing this that do similar things that we do. They're trainers, or they own their own business, or they are kind of like, we were laughing and joking, the captain of their own universe, right? Or what did he say?
The master of your own
universe. You're captain of your own ship. And so I just want to say, practice gratitude there, because you're referring to what Gary Vee says in the grandparents. Like, the fact that we're here is extraordinary. We should be grateful for that. But the fact that if you go beyond that, we're able to do what we're able to do. Like, I stop right now as you were saying that, and just looking around this room. Like, this is all because of Instagram. And I used to, my ego would look at that and go,
well,
that's
sorry, because of Instagram, because of you having a crazy idea.
Opportunity, okay? I remember him talking about his childhood and how if luck hadn't have happened and these people weren't trying to escape, this is Gary Vee's new book, 12 and a half, trying to escape the Soviet Union. And whenever that happened, there was a certain amount of people that were put in jail. And these people that were put in jail made this massive movement happen where they allowed people to come over here and life is different. And now because of that, Gary Vee was able to see something and almost create and follow his dreams. There's so many places in this world that exist right now. And maybe you're in one of them and listening to us that are so entitled and we are so lucky. And that word luck is bizarre because I almost want to say that I've said in the past that I don't believe in luck. But I think that luck will only appear to people that are working hard, because it doesn't just happen. Things don't just happen. Like I said, because of Instagram. Okay, yeah, Instagram was there, but it was an opportunity. And we all have opportunity. It surrounds us. And if we're able to see it and act upon it and work hard on this opportunity, then you can create whatever the fuck you want. And this is an example of that.
Yeah. Well, any closing thoughts?
That's it.
My friend, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you on Beyond. Hope that you're part of it. There's a lot more of this throughout kettlebell swings and squats and push-ups and all that crazy
and
shit.
Sweaty snatches.
Oh yeah, that you can expect from us. It was an incredible program. We're happy to bring this one out to you. So thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.